What's up, guys? Welcome back to Unqualified Critics. So I wanted to document for you two things. Number one, my experience with the Arcade1up Attack from Mars pinball. I have had a failure issue. And then number two, I just want to let you guys know my experience with their customer support. Because, you know, they get a bad rap sometimes. And I feel like, not just this time, but in the past, I've had a pretty good experience with the customer support. And you're probably saying, hey, yeah, but you got a YouTube channel. And that's a fair point. And I am currently emailing them from my YouTube email, but I have emailed them from another email over the past 9 months, and it's possible they still know who I am, but I kind of doubt it. You know, they've got a support team. They're not worrying about my different aliases online, I don't think. So I doubt they knew who I was, and I got good customer support then too. But I got to level with y'all. It's been 2 weeks since I bought this machine, give or take, and it stopped working. Here's what it's showing. Here's what it's doing, and let me give you the quick history on it. So when I start playing the Arcade1up Pinball, after about a week, as I'm playing it, there's a lot of on-screen action. The screen flickers on and off. And I'm not talking about a dropped frame out of 60 frames a second. I'm talking about like a half second to a second. Screen goes black, comes back on, everything's good. And then a little bit later, I start getting this red, green, blue, white color cycling, which is what it's doing now. Okay, so at that point, I turn it off, turn it back on, power cycle it, no problem. And at least one of you, I think maybe two, in my comments, you've had this experience too, and you said, hey, I reset it and it worked. So that was my experience as well. I reset it and it worked. Another week goes by or so, maybe a couple more hours of playtime. Now it goes into this color cycling again, except power cycling, it doesn't stop it. Unplugging it, plugging it back in, doesn't stop it. Here's the other thing. And I really thought this would work, and it didn't. Putting it into diagnostic mode doesn't stop it. Now, diagnostic mode will run it through the color test. That's all this is. The red, the blue, the green, the white, black. It's confirming that the display can display all the things it needs to make its image. Except it's stuck in that mode. And here's what's interesting. When I start the diagnostic mode, it displays that color cycle in the full diagnostic menu up in the DMD display where it's warped. Now, let me take you guys back to when I was reviewing this cabinet. My plan was to capture for you guys some HDMI direct capture video, so you don't just have to look at my camera over the shoulder the whole time. Ended up not working. My capture card isn't compatible with this, probably because of HDCP being a newer variant of HDCP on here, copyright protection, than what my bum-ass capture card supports. So no problem. You know, there's nothing wrong with Arcade1up hardware at this point. It's just my crappy capture card won't pick it up. Cool. Moving on. Here's what's weird. When I unplug the HDMI that goes into the DMD, I unplug it from my DMD. I plug it into the capture card. Capture card doesn't work. No problem. Plug it back in. And now suddenly the playfield display is up in the DMD. And it's all stretched and it's all warped, but that's the full playfield. I could play Attack from Mars up in the DMD with no normal DMD display, and then the main display is completely blank. So it was really weird, and I thought, what the hell have I done? Well, unplugging the HDMI, plugging it back in, that reset it, and it was fine. But there's something in this software, when the DMD display doesn't receive the signal it expects to receive, this thing does weird shit. All right? So that was one thing, but then that fixed itself. I didn't think much of it. Well, then a week later, I'm playing, give or take a week. I don't know if these timelines are exact, but I'm playing, and then it goes into the red, blue, green color cycling, right? Separate from all this, everything's working fine, but the main display goes into its color testing. So I turn it off, turn it back on, and everything's fine again. Week later, goes into the color testing, and it doesn't stop color testing. It can't stop color testing. Just like the NPCs in Cyberpunk that can't stop T-posing, my machine cannot stop telling me that, yes, it's passing the test, it's working, it's displaying all these colors, but what it's not doing is letting you play pinball. Now, here's the thing, guys. I've seen a lot of really great comments saying, hey, you need to put this into diagnostic mode. Great point. I have put it into diagnostic mode, but this gets back to my DMD story from earlier. All it does is put the diagnostic menu up in the DMD. It doesn't shake it out of this color testing, which is also accessed through the diagnostic mode. The main display just keeps on cycling colors while the diagnostic menu is all warped up in the DMD, just like the playfield display was warped in the DMD before. So I do think these issues are potentially linked. I do think this is a software issue, not a hardware issue, in my opinion. I hope Zen Studios is watching, Arcade1up is watching. You know, just take note of this, because if it happened to me, and if it happened because I unplugged and replugged an HDMI, this is going to happen to other people. If I've run into some weird software bug, it's going to happen elsewhere. I don't think this is a hardware failure. So that's kind of where I am right now. On the customer support front, they've been pretty good. And, you know, you might say, hey, you got a YouTube channel, so you're getting good customer support. And that's possible. So I don't want to write that off. But sometimes I engage with them from customer support from a personal email, and I've had good customer support then too. So I really haven't had issues with these guys at all recently on the support front. And we'll see. The issue's not been dealt with yet, but it has been escalated. So basically I reach out, letting them know the first time I saw the color cycling, saying, hey, this may be an issue. Want to get it on your radar. The next day they emailed me back. We haven't heard about it anywhere else, but we'll take note of it. Okay, cool. A week later, hey, my machine stopped working. It's in that color cycle mode all the time. So they asked for a video of it. I sent them the video, and then they've escalated it to their product team. I don't know if that means the Zen team. I don't know if they have an in-house team that's going to do QA stuff on this. No idea, but it doesn't really matter as long as they get it fixed. So that's where we left it off. This was back on, I guess, yesterday as of this recording, April 13. So, you know, we'll see what they have to say. Again, I think it's a software issue, and if that's true, it's probably going to take them a while to fix this. This is probably going to be part of that next patch. We heard loud and clear of that interview with Mel Kirk in Blockade that was done recently. If you guys have been following the channel, that was just the guy from Zen Studios behind these pinballs. He said, hey, we just want to do one firmware patch that fixes everything. So that's going to take a lot of time. My hope is in the meantime, they just send me a fresh PCB. I could send them the old PCB for testing. Let's just get this damn thing sorted. But if this is an issue and it is software, in my opinion, that's a good thing. They can fix this once, and none of you guys are going to have this problem. If it's a hardware failure, that's different. And, you know, what happens when a hardware fails outside of 90 days? We don't know yet. But I just wanted to give you guys the heads up. I do think this is a software failure. I don't think it's hardware. I'll let you guys know one way or the other if this gets resolved. I don't want to fearmonger. Don't think because I had this issue, you're definitely going to have an issue too. Just keep in mind, some people have had issues with these. This is by far the most complex product Arcade1up has made. On the other hand, they seem to be working to fix it. This particular issue doesn't seem to be all that common. And that's it. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button if you enjoy the video. Just make sure you're subscribed, and I'll talk to you guys soon.